So welcome to part 2 of the NS8811 build, which will take us right through to the end and the final stages of painting. So with the chassis running, it's now time to concentrate on cleaning up the boiler, smoke box, cab and footplate unit and adding other details. For a relatively simple loco, there's actually quite a lot of fiddly bits on this. There's additional grab rails and steps that NS fitted once they'd taken possession of them in the 1950s. I'm also going to have to make the very curious Dutch lamps, which don't look very strange to English eyes, but are quite a prominent feature on the front of the loco when they're fitted.
Something uplifting for you then. Oh, okay. We're going underneath the trunk of punk after this. Ham up and Bohannon. Shout above the noise by penetration, or touch and go by magazine. 2 punk rock bangers from my spotty youth. Here you go, if you're writing enough time, Flanners, you get a mention in the end. This is magazine Touch and Go.
So I'm now at a position where I can do a sort of reality check. I've bolted it all back together again. The plan of using the back head to pull this front of the cab and the saddle tank together isn't going to work. Basically I can't get a nut onto the back of the back head. So what I'm going to do is bolt it through as it normally was from the saddle tank through the cab front to tighten them two together. And the back head will then go on separately, probably with a spring clip. There's a couple of things still need to do in terms of there's some brackets underneath the footplate halfway down that need to go on. The injectors are both done, which is one big job out of the way. And I've checked that the alignment of all the bolts that hold the body together and then the body to the chassis still line up. Once I've checked through all the photographs and drawings and made sure that I've not forgotten anything, it can all come apart again then and get ready for painting. The brake rigging will be built and assembled before it's painted and then unclipped so the brake box can come forward so I can drop the axles for painting. The chassis will just get primed in normal high coat red primer. It sticks quite well to ferrous materials as it will to the cast iron wheels. The brass bits are basically going to have to be shot blasted outside with a big grip blaster that I've got. They'll then be etched in vinegar for about 40 minutes. We should get any remnants of tarnishing off, and also clean some of the bits I can't reach, like the inside of the chimney and the inside of the saddle tank, prior to painting. They'll then get painted with a new etched primer that I've got from Highcoat, which I've not tried before, which I'm actually going to use on the 20-ton coke hopper behind me as a test.
National Theatre's play Earthquakes in London, which featured it. Apparently that featured mothers in dark sunglasses dancing around. Orbital was there on stage 2. I heard this, by the by, years ago, and I always wondered about the whole scenario. If we don't find out tonight, you'll never find out.
After a disaster when the British Racing Greener boat turned out to be metallic, I've eventually settled on Brooklands Green as the main body colour. Black will be high coat. The inside of the frames will be hand painted in Tamiya red to highlight the inside valve gear and the inside of the frames. Buffer beams will be the same colour. The inside of the cab will be a buff colour from Tamiya, and I managed to find a train crew who looked to have the right sort of uniforms for Dutch train crew to actually put in the cab as well. So on the finished model we can see I polished the crank pins up and painted the rods burgundy. The buffers are sprung steel heads. The screw couplings came from 10mm, but assembled by themselves, and then we've got the infamous Dutch railway lamps that were modified from some resin DB German ones that I made many years ago. Safety valve and whistles have been fitted in the recess on top of the saddle tank. The lettering was some old dry print Letraset, which was the only white stuff I had with a near enough typeface. Been in very poor condition, so what I actually did was applied it to some clear water slide decal sheets on microscale, sealed it with varnish, and then used it in effect as a water slide decal, and it seems to have worked quite well. Coal bars have been added to the rear windows, and both the front and rear windows have been glazed now. And again we've got the 10mm screw couplings and sprung heads. Back head's fully painted. Train crew, I'm not quite certain where they came from. I think they're Praiser ones, but they certainly look the part.